Okay, Monday Night Raw. What day am I in the quarantine right now? I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what day I'm on quarantine mode, but Monday Night Raw. What are we, another week away from WrestleMania? What do we have tonight, huh? What do we have tonight? Back from the Performance Center. And I'm wondering how a lot of these shows are going to be going, because, I heard, think about what, Friday or Saturday, that WrestleMania and a lot of these Raws are supposed to be taped, but this one is actually live tonight. Once again, well, then again, we can't go anywhere but the Performance Center, so I think that's a no-brainer. But this was, again, another live show, and people wonder how this Raw was going to work out tonight, especially about how they've been trying to scramble everything lately. Have they gotten a little bit better from learning from the past, what, should I say, second week in a row now we've had Raw in the Performance Center tonight? What have they really learned, especially going into WrestleMania? We kicked off the show with the Paul Heyman and, Brock Lesnar and, Drew, video package that they had like about a week or two ago. So if you've seen this video package before, you already know what I'm talking about, because they played this about a week ago or two. But we did kick off the show officially after the video package with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring. As you can see, the camera was different near the hard cam. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say they either copied off the AEW or maybe WWE just learned from their own mistakes, because WWE, not WWE, but like I said before, a lot of people said that AEW did this first, which they did with the hard cam, because they didn't want to show any of the empty seats in the Performance Center, which I believe they moved all the chairs. I kind of saw when a lot of guys were coming out, so they kind of kept the camera towards the entranceway the entire time throughout the entire show. So that was the difference. Instead of the regular way they do it, I guess they just didn't want to show all the seats, because it doesn't make a lot of... We know it's empty, but it doesn't make a lot of sense by showing the empty chairs, especially after last week on 316. Even though I thought the whole Stone Cold thing was pretty funny when they cut to the cameras out there. But they have moved the camera direction this week. But Paul Heyman, he kicked it off saying, we live in uncertain times right now, which is true. And now we need a little certainty in our lives. And the certainty is that it's Lesnar. And that McIntyre, he can sit and train his ass off and spar with multiple MMA fighters, but he cannot beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Because this WrestleMania, which is said to be just too big for one night, Heyman pretty much said that McIntyre pretty much can get on his hands and knees, but God's prayer line is going to give him a busy signal that God will not pick up his phone call. And Heyman pretty much went on to say that the only prayer is that Lesnar will make it quick and painless. And Lesnar's going to make it quick, but it's not going to be painless. And Heyman pretty much went on to say that McIntyre, he's a made man right now because of the fight you brought to Brock Lesnar. But when WrestleMania is over, you will not be the champion, because now it's going to be, then, now, and forever as Lesnar's champion, because he will go down like everybody else. He will get bitched out and he will get douched out at WrestleMania. I believe he did say that in one of those lines. But he did say that, though. I do know that. But he said that Brock will still be the champion. Another good promo from Heyman, of course. I was actually surprised to see Brock even here, because the story I was kind of reading around was that, Brock lives in Canada and everything. So I was wondering how they were even going to get him here, because last time I checked, I think the Canadian and, the Canadian-U.S. border is blocked out right now due to this whole virus thing going on. So I was actually kind of surprised to see Brock there. And this is live, too. I heard Raw was going to be taped, but this was a live show. So I was actually kind of surprised to see Brock here, because people saying the story was that Brock was not even going to be competing at WrestleMania because he lives in a different country, and it's kind of hard to get back and forth to different states right now. But I don't know the whole story behind that, so there you go. They also end up, by the way, we only had Brian Saxton and Tom Phillips on commentary tonight, so no Lawler out there. They did play the a replay match of Brock versus Cena versus Seth from Royal Rumble 2015. I don't really need to get into that. If you've seen the match, you know what I'm talking about. It was still a great match at the time. If you wanted to sit and watch it, go right ahead. But I was doing something else at the time. I didn't really need to go back and look at it. It was, like I said, a really good match, but I don't really have no, I just didn't feel like looking at it again. So I went to do something else at the time. They played Gronk again. That was bad from Friday. Oof, that looked bad. We then went to AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, the OC, who came out. And they pretty much stopped at the stage where AJ did a promo. Talking about the first time WrestleMania is too big for one night. And, I don't care if I wrestle Saturday, Sunday, make it any day. But, Taker, he might can't make it one of those days because Michelle McCool may not let him leave the house. Money Michelle right there, as he called her. AJ pretty much start calling Undertaker old and making a whole bunch of jokes, saying, you got to wear his diapers, and he's the gothic version of the Tiger King. That was actually a good line, sick burn, as he said. If you do not know that line, I saw this on Friday on Twitter, but they played the video with Undertaker and Michelle McCool to save tigers while they were sitting in a pool. I know that was a very strange video when I first saw it. I'm like, Undertaker or Undertiger, or I don't know what that was, but it's like, okay, he's trying to save the tigers now? Or something from going to extinct? I don't know what was going on with that. Yeah, which I don't mind. I know he's just trying to save animals and everything. It's nothing wrong with that, but I thought that was just strange when I even saw the video the first time, and with them also playing it tonight. Whatever they're trying to push with that right now. Like I said, just him helping the Tigers or something with it like that. Pretty much, what happened to you. And then he started talking about Undertaker. He's got a Twitter now. Why do you even have a Twitter? And then, him and, his wife pretty much having pictures on Instagram. What happened to you? You're not the Undertaker of yesteryear. But he says he's going to bring back the dead man. He says he's going to bring back the Phenom. He says that it's going to be a Boneyard match. And it's going to be the perfect plot that you will be buried in, since your wife picked that plot for you when, she buried your career. Okay, in a way, this is almost similar to what John Cena said almost a few years ago, especially mentioning Michelle McCool many times, and Twitter and the, Instagram, even the video with the video with the tiger. Because if I remember, John Cena talked about a couple years ago about how, let's talk about you and your wife's Instagram working out on videos and stuff. Now it's you trying to save the tigers and, still having pictures and creating your own Twitter account now. Now, other than, AJ's promos being a little similar to Cena's, which AJ still cut a good promo. Number two, I'm sure everybody's going to wonder, what in the hell is a Boneyard match? I don't know if this is, because at first I almost thought to say casket or buried alive match. I haven't heard the word buried alive match in a very long time, for almost over 10 years ago now at this point. But between that and maybe a casket match, I don't know what a Boneyard match is. I don't know if it has to do with bones. Some people think, Big Evil American Badass Taker will be back. I don't know what a Boneyard match is. At first I was thinking Boneyard match. So is it like a graveyard match between Vampiro and Sting from back then? I don't know what this is. So I'm sure everyone's confused about a Boneyard match. Or maybe it's some type of no DQ, or there's bones around. I don't know what this is going to be, honestly, okay? So I guess we'll find out and see. But, AJ's promo, like I said before, is mostly talking about, once again, Taker and his wife and, being exposed now. You're not the same dead man. Your mystique is gone. Twitter. Very similar to Cena. So, there you go. Next, we had Almas, Garza, and Vega in the back, as Vega pretty much talked about the Street Profits, because for some reason they have a match. Both Garza and Almas will be facing the Street Profits at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. Yes, a match with no build, which literally makes no sense. Now, I thought a lot of people could have said it would have been a fatal four-way between Garza, Almas, Mysterio, and Humberto, but for some reason we have a tag team match with literally no build. Do not know why. Makes no sense, honestly. Well, Almas and, Garza pretty much talked about how they were going to take the tag team titles. And before Caruso could say anything, Garza pretty much came back to Charlie Caruso as she smiled. Most of the time when she looks at Garza, basically she wants to fuck him. Even though I believe he already has a fiance, so she probably have to go through that. But hey, just try to bang anything that moves, I should say. But yeah, Caruso pretty much hypnotized by Garza. Next, we had a tag team match, which was the first match out of almost in, I believe, the second hour of the show. Garza and Almas versus Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Two guys who are not over right now or have just been buried or allegedly Vince has given up on at this point. I forgot Cedric was still here half the time. But Ricochet, and then we had the Street Profits on commentary, which probably was one of the highlights throughout this match because at least they entertained me. Wasn't a bad match. Pretty much went out a little bit long, and the finish was very odd. Wasn't bad, I should say. Cedric and Ricochet could be a tag team if necessary. I don't think that's going to happen, but it will be good if they were a tag team just to get somewhere or something with this. But, yeah, Ricochet, like I said, Ricochet and Cedric, they could become a tag team. Almas and Guards have tagged before too, so they're not bad as a team also. But they end up winning. Almas hit the back elbow on Cedric, which the finish looked very odd out of this match because there was a couple botches anyway. But the biggest botch was that pinfall because after the back elbow by Almas, the referee was counting to 2. Then he kind of stopped. Then he hit 3, which I don't know what was the point of that. That was a very strange botch finish there by the referee because it's like the ref hesitated to count to 3. Then he ended up counting 3 anyway. So there you go. And then, they pretty much talking about the Street Profits as Montez Ford got on top of the table and danced and everything. So, yeah, that's pretty much what happened there. But, yeah, we do have a tag title match coming up between these guys for some reason. They end up playing WrestleMania from last year. We'll highlight when Kofi won the title. And then talk about what happened last week with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Especially after Saxton got kicked in the balls last week. Which I feel like this show needs more Austin on here again for some reason. Street Profits end up having a match then against Shane Thorne. Haven't heard that name in a while on NXT. And Brendan Vink. I have no idea who that is. Basically, this was just a showcase match for the Street Profits. So, a good win for them as they pretty much get ready for their tag team match. Because like I said before, they end up kind of going against Almas and Garza for a second before they even started this match. So, at least we got a good match. Like I said, just a showcase match. But Shane Thorne, I forgot what he was doing ever since. I think the last time I saw Shane Thorne was on NXT. And I think he lost to Gargano. So I haven't really seen him until this time. They show R-Truth pinning Roderick Moss in somewhere in a neighborhood. Probably Roderick Moss's neighborhood. To regain the 24/7 title because there was a referee and a car and he ended up rolling up and driving off with the title. So wherever Roderick Moss's push went or whatever push he was going to get, I don't know if it's still there or not, but we'll see what happens with that. But next we got a sit-down interview with Shayna Baszler as Charlie Caruso's in the ring. Pretty much asking Baszler that you may be the most intimidating woman in WWE history after, dominating everybody in the Elimination Chamber. And pretty much that, as if how would you conduct yourself as champion if you beat Becky Lynch? Baszler stared at Caruso and everything, but Baszler pretty much said, you look nervous, Charlie. You think I'm going to bite? Of course. He said, sorry, I couldn't help myself. The biting and everything. But Caruso pretty much asked her, the biting is the type of brutality you're going to bring to Becky Lynch. As Baszler pretty much says that Becky should expect to lose. And she wants the title because she loves to destroy. And when she takes the title, it'll destroy Lynch. Because she pretty much started intimidating Caruso then. Says, ask the questions, Charlie, I should say. Ask the questions. Next thing you know, Shayna Baszler got hit from behind with a chair because it was a spotlight. Couldn't even see in the dark at first. When the lights came on, Becky was there. She hit Baszler again with the chair. Again, until leaving her in the ring as the music played. Quick segment, so not bad. And everything to hype up the match. I still think Baszler's walking away with that belt no matter what, but not bad. Next, Aleister Black went against Leon Ruff. I feel like I've heard that name before. Black literally sat in the ring. Ruff didn't know what to do. He tried to kick Black. Black grabbed, pretty much dodged it, grabbed his leg. Black mass. It was over. For some reason, Aleister Black has a match against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Once again, this is a match with no build. I have no clue. I don't know why. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of more strange, weird matches coming up for WrestleMania just out of the fucking blue. So that's just another strange one. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. Next, Kevin Owens, who was in the ring calling out Seth Rollins. He called out Seth if he was even here to answer his challenge. Seth Rollins came out. Of course, Jesus himself. He said this place looks pretty good. And he wanted to wrap it around his head, talking about why you want to face me. He said you had the advantage in the Performance Center because you train here. And I didn't train here. Because everybody knows Ron's training in FCW before he went to NXT. But he said the Performance Center didn't exist until, when he was training. And he said that this place was built off of sacrifice and his success. And that when he came here, it was just a dilapidated warehouse on his first day. And he was told everything before he even arrived in WWE. And pretty much says that his whole life's work, up in smoke, just like that. Gone, he said. And Ron pretty much went on to say, he has preserved and succeeded his, career for people like not Rollins, but Owens to even have a chance to train here because he helped build this place up. And he walked around the ring while doing his promo too. And he said, pretty much without him, there'd be no NXT. There'd be no Gargano. There'd be no Ciampa. There'd be no Undisputed Era. There'd be no Takeover or Women's Revolution, etc. And there'd be no Kevin Owens. And Ron pretty much says, are you going to let me finish, all right? You always want to fight, talk less, fight, but why don't you just let me finish what I have to say? Because Owens didn't really want to hear what he had to say, but Ron pretty much asked him, you picked WrestleMania. Why would you pick this day? Listen, I've won Intercontinental Championship, Universal Championship, beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE title, cashed in Money in the Bank on Brock Lesnar, beating Triple H. That WrestleMania is, where he shines, he says. And, I got more WrestleMania moments than he can count. Where you have had nothing but failure. You've had losses, even though I think the only Owens win at WrestleMania was beating Chris Jericho for the U.S. title. But, Ron pretty much, says you're not even good enough to even beat me on my worst day. And you know what? You weren't even you're even good enough to be on the WrestleMania card last year, okay? Because WrestleMania is never his worst day. Because under pressure, he becomes a god, and that you don't stand a chance. So, a great promo by Seth Rollins. Very great promo by Seth Rollins. That was probably some say it was a fantastic one I've been hearing tonight. Some say it was one of the promos of his career, but this is probably one of the best promos he's had other than in this feud, other than trying to be Jesus throughout this. So, the empty arena is, kind of helped him tonight in this promo. So, very good from Seth Rollins, but he does accept the challenge to go against Kevin Owens at Mania. They played the entire Charlotte versus Asuka match from WrestleMania 34. They went to Charlotte right after then, pretty much talking about reliving that moment that, she was inspired, and soon as inspired Ripley and talked about how, she's a master class in making history and ended Asuka's streak, retired the Divas Champion, and become one of the first women to main event WrestleMania. And that this is Ripley needs a history lesson, and you need to watch more of my legacy matches right now. You can learn a thing or two. So, yes, Asuka versus Charlotte. The match where Asuka was never the same after this. But we didn't get to the final part of the show. One last promo from Randy Orton, who stood on stage. Which, one thing I'll say about some of these guys, I know it's an empty arena and everything, and they're not wrestling, but did they really need to come out in their gear to cut a promo if that's all they were going to do? Because even I said it like, okay, we know Randy's not going to be in no match or anything, so did he really need to be in his gear? But that's besides the point, though. He pretty much was on, pretty much started talking about some of the things he's done in the past few months, that he's been misunderstood. And, he said it came from a place of love, and that the stuff he's done, the brutality and violence, he was talking to Edge, and he wanted to apologize that, when his wife was out there trying to get him retired, pretty much said that he knew he was a junkie from the roar of the crowd, but you're not a junkie. You're just a junkie for your own ego. Adam Copeland is a junkie for Edge. And, you want to say I was handed an opportunity because of my last name, but that doesn't guarantee you're going to have a Hall of Fame career. Say he won his first Intercontinental Championship in his first year when he was called up. And then, less than a year later, he became the youngest world champion. We won't tell who he beat, though. We can't talk about Chris Benoit. Make sure I see that documentary tomorrow. But besides that, Orton pretty much went on to say that Mick Foley didn't pass the torch to him. It was handed to you. Mick Foley threw me on a pile of thumbtacks, so I spat in his face, beat him, and I took the torch from him. And, I went on to being a third-generation prospect and having one of the most 3 deadly letters in sports entertainment. Of course, RKO. Was that handed to me? He said no, and pretty much, it's because he has grit, which Edge says, claim they didn't have. But Orton pretty much says grit has given him longevity in this industry that seldom a lot have, which is true. It's not a lot of guys that can have that longevity that lasts a long time that people talk about. And he said that grit to him is being more consistent, more the one constant in the WWE locker room. And he says he looks around the locker room and he doesn't see anyone who has accomplished what he has. And that nobody has grit as much as me. Nobody, including you, Edge. And pretty much talked about that he's Edge called him an entitled brat. But Orton laughed at him and pretty much said that Edge calls himself the ultimate opportunist. And he questioned Edge, would you have declined if Triple H offered you a spot in Evolution? And Orton pretty much says, listen, I done everything for your family, your kids, so they can have their dad back. But, he says, you want to question, do I accept your challenge at WrestleMania in a last man standing match? And he said that Edge may be writing this story, but at WrestleMania, he's going to write the last chapter. So he accepted this match. And he says, at WrestleMania, we're going to know who has more grit, because it's going to be Edge's last chapter at WrestleMania. So another great promo for Randy Orton. Very great promo. It was very awesome, very cool too, I will say that. So Orton was the last part to end off the show. So another great promo from Orton in this whole Edge versus Orton story that's been going on. Probably the best thing on for WrestleMania. So yeah, that's Raw tonight. Do I think it was a little bit better? On some standards, yes, and I know people are not going to like the empty arena thing, of course, but hey, this is what we got to work with right now, okay? It's not a lot you can really do. That's what any wrestling show, when you think about it, especially with WWE and AEW. So this was a little bit better. I'm sure people talk about the hard cam tonight. I didn't think this was bad. A lot of promos, of course. I know some matches don't make sense that were added just to be added, like the Street Profits and Almas and Garza and Bobby Lashley and Aleister Black. I have no idea why that's even added. The Orton promo was great. Of course, Rollins' promo was great. AJ's was okay. I will say that. It was just still weird to see the Undertaker. Brock and Paul, that was a great promo. So, like I said, a lot of these shows are more promo heavy. I know a lot of people said they could just do what AEW did, but I don't know how many wrestlers they can let in or stuff. I still think they should have put wrestlers out in the crowd and everything just to set up something, but we only got 2-3 matches, and one was 2 of them were squash matches, so it's not much to say from that. And I haven't seen Ricochet and Cedric on them in, so I'm surprised they were even on this show in general. But of course, a lot played was just the Rumble match from 2015, the Triple Threat title match, and Charlotte and Asuka. See, when those matches came on, I went to do something else because I didn't really need to go back and watch the match because I already seen it before, so I didn't really feel like watching it again. Okay, so I'm good on having to sit through. I know they got to eat up time because I don't think they had enough material, especially to fill 3 hours, and depending on how many people are there from the roster tonight. So I get why they did it. So, they play it, they can play it, but I'm not really going to be paying attention to whatever match they have on. Okay, they just play it, But I'll probably be doing something else at that time. But yeah, this is what we can already get for right now. I don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania, but allegedly it's still going with this 2-night thing. It's a lot of matches, I will say that. Not bad promos, and I do want to see this stuff, but honestly, I don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania, nor do I know if it's even going to happen, and that depends how bad this stuff even gets right now, because it's already looking bad as it is, okay? And I don't know if it'll go on, so they got like another 2 weeks until, Saturday, not this Saturday, but then the Saturday after. So, do I think WrestleMania is really going to go on with this whole empty arena thing? I don't think so, because depending how the situation is, we'll see how it goes. But I would not be surprised if it does go those 2 nights, though, okay? But then again, I know, like I said before, I know people want WrestleMania to be pushed back. I know they want it to be postponed and everything. It's like what some people say about AEW. They don't want shows going on either. But the thing with WrestleMania is this. How far are we going to push it back? Like I've said before, we don't know when this stuff is going to end. So I get why they're doing it. I'm not saying it's right either, but this is just a very tough situation right now, okay? So I don't know. Maybe things do change in the next 2 weeks. I have no idea. For all I know, it could be canceled. But as of right now, it is still going, and we can't determine what's going to happen, okay? So all I can say is just hope for the best, to be honest with you. But other than that, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think about Raw. It's not very much saving this, because there's mostly promo heavies on this show. And I'm not going to sit through the matches that were played before, but there was some good promos on here tonight, too. At least to set up or put more into these matches for WrestleMania, okay? I don't know what night some of these matches are going to be on, but this is a 2-night thing, so we're spreading this out. We're not going to play it all, 8-9 hours in a row and stuff. But other than that, that's my review. Comment, subscribe, tell me what you think about Monday Night Raw tonight. Follow me on Twitter at 100night890. Tell me. But yeah, comment, subscribe. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at HooderKnight890. So, like I said before, WrestleMania, I don't know what's really going to happen, but all I can say is we'll find out and see. So, at least it was a better episode of Raw tonight. But hey, we'll see what happens next. But other than that, though, I am done from here. We will be back tomorrow night with a review of Impact, and I got to check out this whole Benoit documentary. I already seen part 1, but I got to see part 2 on Viceland TV. So, other than that, stay safe, everybody. Wash your hands and, be careful out there. That's all I really got to say right now. So, other than that, see you guys later. Peace out.